everybody has a favorite Disney movie. Mine's is Beauty and the Beast. But what if yours had a secret sequel that went completely under your nose? From the very beginning, Walt Disney was famously against sequels, prioritizing new and exciting movies. The closest thing we got to a sequel in this era would be The Three Caballeros, a sequel to Sados Amigos. But even that would be hard to call a sequel, since aside from the returning characters, it was a completely original story.
Years later, after Walt Disney had died, the new CEO, Michael Eisner, was able to convince the board of directors of the power of TV animation. To keep costs down, Eisner pitched using the newly made Disney Channel. The board agreed, but on one condition. They were not allowed to use any characters of Walt Disney, believing it would cheapen his image. For a while, they would struggle to find a popular show, until they loosened up a little with their next show, The Office. Fine, I kid. It was DuckTales, destroying everything that Disney execs thought were possible, becoming the highest rated series in 1987. But like all things, it was soon time for the show to end, and they chose to do it the same way it began, with a TV movie. To capture on how successful DuckTales was, they chose to move the movie to theaters under a new division of their TV company, DisneyToon Studio. It got great reviews, but ended up being a gigantic flop at the box office because it was released at the same time as The Jetsons. Back at Disney Animation, two animators, Hendel Boytoy and Michael Gabriel, were discussing the next movie. And of all the sequels they could have possibly been planning, they chose The Rescuers. Not The Great Mouse Detective 2, which is what I would have picked. It too was, surprisingly, a box office bomb, indicating once again that maybe Walt Disney was right.
Soon after DisneyToon Studios was launched, they wanted to make an Aladdin show, opening with a big 3-part epic that would air as a TV special called The Return of Jafar. Disney found this idea very risky, but came around after producer Todd Stones pitched turning this TV special into a straight-to-DVD sequel. This time, the experiment was a huge financial success, selling 4.6 million copies. But critics were less impressed, calling these sequels cheap and pathetic imitations of the original classic Disney movie. Still unsure, Disney created another sequel called King of Thieves. This one would be a humongous success due to Robin Williams returning as the genie. And Disney opened a new studio called DisneyToon Studio that would focus on making direct-to-video sequels. This is where things get very messy, but stay with me as this will all make sense later. For the next straight-to-DVD sequel, they chose Toy Story. However, Pixar insisted that they make the movie themselves, and eventually would be released theatrically with tremendous success.
Back at Toon Studios, they were raking in millions, releasing 5 to 6 direct-to-DVD sequels annually. This did not go unnoticed by Michael Eisner, who came up with a sneaky, underhanded plan to create a new company called Circle 7 Animation. The idea? to make Pixar direct-to-DVD sequels in-house at Toon Studio without Pixar, believing the public would never know the difference. Pixar Chief Creative Officer John Lasseter was livid. He felt Disney had no respect for Pixar's genius, and was furious that Disney had the audacity to think they could pass off their cheaply made sequels as Pixar masterpieces. New Disney CEO Bob Iger stepped in to mediate. He realized how popular Pixar was and how much Disney needed them to create amazing animation. And I think we all know what happened next. He immediately shut down Circle 7. Its 3 in development sequels, Toy Story 3, Monsters Inc. 2, and Finding Nemo 2, were cancelled, becoming nothing more than a ghost story.
After this, DisneyToon Studio would be redirected to focusing on the Planes and Tinkerbell movies, with Pixar trying their own hand at sequels in 2011 with Cars 2. And with Pixar and Disney making their own sequels, they simply had no need for DisneyToon Studio and was shut down in 2018.